I entered a contract marriage with the coldest tycoon in the city. After the wedding, he laid down 3 rules: no touching him, no announcing our relationship to the public, and no falling in love with him. I nodded like a woodpecker. It was just mutual convenience anyway. Then, in the middle of the night, I went downstairs for water and caught him grinning foolishly at my selfie, muttering, "My baby's gorgeous." Me? Hold on, wasn't the script supposed to be different? Taylor, this is the room Mr. Sterling prepared for you. Harrison pushed open the door with zero expression. The decor was, well, clinical is the polite word. Black, white, and gray, ruler straight lines, not a single throw pillow in sight. I, Serena, had married Adrian, CEO of Sterling Global, 1 hour ago. A 1-year marriage on paper. The reason, my family's firm was hemorrhaging money and on the brink of bankruptcy. My chess-obsessed grandpa somehow got talking to Adrian's grandpa. 1 handshake later, a marriage certificate bought us a life-saving investment, and I was the free gift with purchase. Got it, Ellis, I said, forcing a stiff smile as I dragged my suitcase inside. The door clicked shut behind me, sealing the rest of the world out. I flopped onto the bed. It felt like sheet metal. I pulled out my phone. WhatsApp messages from my best friend Maya had already blown up. Serena. You actually married him? The living iceberg Adrian? They say the temperature drops 10 degrees within 5 feet of him. Execs leave his boardroom in tears. Worst rumor, he's allergic to women. You didn't get married, you entered nunhood. I typed back with a wry smile, for the company. No choice. Guard your heart, girl. After a year it'll be a popsicle. Staring at the cold, empty room, I believed her. This wasn't a bridal suite, it was a custom-built tomb. Late that night I put on the most modest pajamas I owned, long sleeves, long pants, and curled under the blanket. The master bedroom door opened. I stopped breathing, ears pricked. Soft footsteps passed my room and went straight into the study across the hall. Good. Peaceful coexistence. Just as I exhaled, my phone dinged. Adrian had sent an iMessage. We'd added each other this afternoon. His avatar was still the blank gray bust, the display name, simply Adrian. As frosty as the man himself. I opened it, 2 words, NDA file, followed by a document. 50 pages of the in-house bylaws. Bottom line came down to 3 bullets. 1. During the marriage, private lives stay private. 2. In public, the relationship stays invisible. 3. Any feelings beyond the contract are forbidden. I pouted. Ice cold, all right, but exactly what I wanted. I typed a single reply, deal. He answered instantly, print, sign, leave on my desk tomorrow. That fast? Legend said Alex replied to texts whenever Jupiter aligned. Yet he'd answered in a second? Probably coincidence. I emailed the PDF to myself and tiptoed to the study to use the printer. The door was ajar. Adrian sat behind a massive desk in gold-rimmed glasses, eyes pinned to a laptop screen. A black silk robe hung open at the collar, revealing the hard cut of his chest. The overhead light carved his profile like a statue. Couldn't deny it, face, but carved from glacier. I kept my head down, printed the pages, signed, and tried to bolt. Stop. I froze. At home, use my first name, he said, voice sharp enough to slice. Adrian, I whispered. He gave a curt hum, noticed the papers in my hand, and asked, anything else? And no. I set the contract on his desk corner and pivoted. Wait. I almost cried. What now? The Greek yogurt in the fridge is fresh. Without looking up, he reopened his laptop. I blinked. When I'd arrived, I'd spotted a shelf of my favorite mango Greek yogurt. I'd figured Harrison set it out. Him? Impossible. I shook off the idea and fled. Back in bed, I yanked the quilt over my head. Must have been my imagination. Hours later, thirst woke me. I slipped into the corridor, dark except for a faint glow under the kitchen door. I peeked through the crack. The icicle himself stood by the fridge, phone in hand. On the screen, my latest Instagram selfie. His thumb stroked my face, his lips curved in an actual goofy grin, soft enough to drip water. Then he kissed the screen and murmured, baby, so beautiful. Me? My glass slipped and shattered. The smile shattered too. Silence fell like a coffin lid. I wanted to die on the spot. He turned slowly, the leftover grin looked ridiculous on that god-tier face. What are you doing here? The voice was glacial again, almost accusing. Just water, I stammered while my toes excavated a 3-bedroom apartment into the floor. His gaze dropped to the shards. Up all night? Sleepwalking? I waved frantically. Just thirsty, I swear. He strode over. I braced for murder. Instead he crouched, careful fingers collecting glass. Stand still, don't cut yourself. I squeaked an okay. He tossed the pieces, swept every glittering speck, still wordless. I felt like a felon awaiting sentence. When the floor gleamed he straightened. So, what did you see? Survival Oscars time. I produced the world's ugliest smile. See? My eyes were dazzled, just seeing things. His stare was an X-ray. Finally he snorted. Better be. He fished out a cold bottle of water, cracked the cap, and pressed it into my hand. Drink. Then bed. He disappeared upstairs. I sagged against the counter, heart hammering. Did Manhattan's Ice King really call me baby? Morning. I trudged downstairs with panda eyes. Adrian, immaculate in a bespoke charcoal suit, sipped black coffee over the Wall Street Journal. 2 place settings, his espresso and half-eaten croissant, opposite, congee with pickled veggies, my standard 6-stomach breakfast. Only Maya and my parents knew that routine. Harrison again? I asked lightly. He didn't look up. Harrison, universal scapegoat. I sat and spooned the porridge, silence thick enough to slice. I'll drive you to Sterling, he said suddenly. Oh, no need, subway's fine. Rule 2, remember? CEO chauffeuring a rookie designer? The SG intranet would combust. On my way, he decreed. Sure, boss. Inside the Bentley I didn't know where to put my hands. Cold cedar scent filled the cabin, his signature. I sneaked a glance. His profile could stamp coins. It was almost impossible to connect this man with the lovesick stalker from last night. The Bentley stopped 1 block short of Sterling Tower. Get out here, he said, voice like January frost. I jumped for the door like he'd just granted me parole. Yes, Jamie, wait. He stopped me again. My heart lurched. What now? He twisted around, eyes black and depthless, and dropped a sentence that nearly split me in two. Don't get cozy with any men at the company. Me? Was that even in the NDA marriage contract? I didn't remember a clause like that. Reading my face, he added, especially the one named Jason. Jason, Concept's golden retriever intern who once carried a box of samples for me and exchanged about 3 sentences. How did Adrian even know? Had he bugged the whole damn building? WY? I couldn't help asking. Adrian's expression darkened another shade, voice colder. No reason. Just remember it. He faced forward, floored the accelerator, and left me choking on exhaust. I climbed out, drenched in confusion, and watched the silver Bentley disappear. What happened to live and let live? Now he's policing who I talk to. His possessiveness is off the charts. I drifted into the lobby still tangled in question marks. The second I reached my cubicle, Maya floated over, eyes sparkling with gossip. Serena, I just saw a limited edition Bentley, plates 88,888. Which big shot is in town? I stared at my keyboard. No idea. You think it could be Cameron, the Ice King himself? My hand jerked, coffee almost painted my blouse. Him? In our little corner of Midtown? Not a chance. True. She leaned in, voice hushed. But listen, top secret, don't breathe a word. What? They say Cameron's got a white moon crush he's carried for years. Still hung up on her. My stomach dipped. White moon. Was last night's selfie session just a case of mistaken identity? He saw his ghost girl who happens to look like me? The thought sat on my chest like a brick. You sure? Cross my heart. Rumor is he stayed celibate for her, no hookups, nothing. Me, celibate king? So the guy moaning baby at a phone at 3 a.m. was, what, possessed? The more I chewed on it, the less sense it made. Exactly how many faces does Adrian wear? That afternoon Concept held a kickoff for a Hamptons resort landscape job. As the newest hire, I was parked in the corner with the recyclables. Project lead, senior designer Linda. When she finished her pitch the director frowned. Linda, it's too safe. Give me a headline, something Instagram memorable. Linda's smile froze. Silence swallowed the conference table. I stared at the doodle in my notebook, an offhand concept sketch I'd inked during her slides, a pool tiled in fiber optic glass, midnight water glowing like bottled starlight. Serena. The director's voice cracked like a whip. I sprang up. Sir, what's your take? Every eye swiveled, some curious, some already smirking. Linda's glare could have sliced rebar. A rookie isn't supposed to have opinions. I swallowed. I have a rough idea. I described the galaxy pool, Riley lights under fused glass mosaic, turning a swim into a glide across the Milky Way. The director's eyes ignited. Love it. Fresh, buzzworthy. Linda's complexion went volcanic. Afterward, the director told me to tighten the drawings and present tomorrow. Back at my desk, I could feel Linda's dagger stare between my shoulder blades. Maya pinged me a gif of a mic drop. I answered with a trembling kitten sticker. Near quitting time, the sky ripped open. I had no umbrella. While I watched the waterfall from the lobby windows, my phone buzzed. Adrian, downstairs. I splashed to the curb. The Bentley purred at the curb like a tamed storm. I slid in, damp and shivering. Sorry, I'm soaking your leather. He said nothing, just handed me a dry towel. Heat blasted, life crept back into my fingers. Ellis, I mumbled. The car merged into the rivers of red taillights. A sidelong glance showed me his left shoulder, soaked. When he'd passed the towel, he must have leaned into the rain to shield me. Your jacket's wet, I blurted. Eyes on the road, voice flat. At the penthouse, I bolted for a hot shower. When I emerged, Adrian waited in the living room half-light, holding a steaming mug. Dylan. Drink. I accepted. Warmth bled through the porcelain into my palms. How did you? I just got my period today, I stammered, cheeks flaming. He cleared his throat, gaze sliding away. Harrison's intel. Of course, omniscient Harrison. I sipped, spicy sweet heat unknotted my cramps. Ellis. He turned to leave. Impulse snagged me. Adrian. He paused. His collar was folded crooked. My OCD hand rose to fix it before I caught myself. An inch from his throat I froze. The air went liquid. His breath hitched, almost audible. Your collar was twisted, I squeaked, yanking back. He caught my wrist mid-retreat, burning grip, steel gentle. What were you planning? He murmured, bending so close his words brushed my lips. I only wanted to straighten it, honest. Really? He smiled, slow, predatory. Thought you might bite. My heart jackhammered. Mr. Ice King, flirting? That topped the 3 a.m. selfie seance on the creepometer. I wasn't. A low laugh rumbled out of him. Such a timid little thing. He let go, adjusted the collar himself, eyes never leaving mine, complicated, unreadable. Sleep early. He climbed the stairs, leaving me flushed, pulse roaring, questioning every clause of the NDA marriage contract. Is he glacier or volcano? And which one is scarier? Morning came too fast. I delivered the polished Galaxy package. The director raved and added me to the core team, with Linda. Her glare could have curdled champagne. I knew then my career had just leveled up to nightmare mode. She struck immediately. Day 1 site survey? She sent me to a non-existent address. I roasted in Long Island sun for nothing. Tuesday minutes? She forgot to lend me the recorder. I reconstructed the meeting from memory and prayed. I absorbed each pinprick, new girl rules. Then Friday, client review. Linda clicked through slides. At the signature Galaxy spread she skimmed like it was an afterthought, as if the concept had sprouted from her own skull. The client leaned forward. This starlight pool, fascinating. Details? She stammered, empty air. All the specs lived only in my head. The director's jaw tightened. I sat coiled, nails biting palms. Hours of my overtime, my stars. Was I really letting her steal them? I started to rise. The door swung wide. Adrian strode in with his usual entourage. The room temperature plummeted 10 degrees. Everyone snapped upright. Cameron. He took the head chair, gaze sweeping the table, pausing one cool beat on me. Proceed. The director dabbed sweat, motioning Linda on. She choked through 2 sentences under Adrian's arctic stare. He lifted a hand. Enough. You're turning Cartier into gumball jewelry. Linda's face cycled from scarlet to ash. Adrian turned to the director. Remind me, who generated this concept? I drew a long breath and stood up. Cameron, it's me. Every eye in the room swiveled back to me. Adrian watched me without the slightest surprise, as if he'd known all along. You present? Yes, sir. I walked to the front and took the clicker. At first my stomach fluttered, but the moment I slipped into the language of design, the nerves melted away. I moved from concept to material palette to construction detail, lucid and on fire. Only my voice echoed through the conference suite. When I finished, I bowed. The client's lead clapped first. Brilliant. Taylor, your vision is exactly the vacation we want to sell. The design director and my teammates joined the applause. Only Linda stood to the side, face the color of spoiled ash. Adrian didn't clap, he simply studied me, the corner of his mouth lifting a millimeter. Was I imagining things? The meeting closed with the client asking that I head the project. The director agreed on the spot. Linda was summoned upstairs, rumor said she was shredded alive. I packed up, humming under my breath, light as air. Outside the building the Bentley idled in its usual spot. I slid into the back seat, unsurprised. Ellis, today, I said, gratitude spilling over. Without his sudden appearance, I had no idea how much longer Linda would have kept me under her thumb. What are you thanking me for? He asked, starting the engine, voice unreadable. Ellis, you gave me the chance. You earned the chance, he corrected, then added, you did well. His praise made my insides glow. By the way, he said, are you free this weekend? Yeah, why? Be my date to a dinner. I blinked. A dinner? I thought we couldn't go public. Private circle, private estate, he clarified. I need a partner. Translation, arm candy. Okay. Saturday evening, Adrian's Connor delivered a garment box. Inside lay a galaxy blue strapless gown, the skirt strewn with micro diamonds that flared like my own galaxy pool under spotlights. I zipped myself in and stared at the mirror, momentarily disoriented. Adrian came downstairs, paused mid-step. He wore black wool, no tie, the top 2 buttons open, sharp edges traded for lazy, dangerous sex. His gaze swept over me, dark enough to swallow light. Stunning, he rasped, throat working. Heat rushed to my cheeks. I fussed with the hem. The dinner took place at a private Hamptons estate. Everyone their own jets, islands, or senators. I curled my fingers around Adrian's arm, Cinderella in borrowed diamonds. Stay close, he murmured, feeling me tense. His breath tickled my ear. Guests kept approaching. Adrian answered with icy nods, hand never leaving my arm. Every woman in the room wanted to trade places, and hated me for holding the spot. Adrian, who's the beauty? A man in Pepto Pink sauntered over, eyes dancing. My wife, Serena, Adrian said, flat and clear. First time he'd spoken the word aloud, even in this micro-audience. Pink suit lifted a brow. Married? When did I miss the memo? No memo for you. Still charming as gravel. He turned to me, hand out. Taylor, I'm Tristan. I started to accept. Adrian yanked me against him, ignoring the extended palm. She doesn't shake strangers. Tristan, me, possessive much? Tristan only smirked. Fine, your territory, your rules. Halfway through the night, tipsy on champagne, I escaped to the terrace for air. Night breeze soothed the bubbles in my head. My phone rang, Linda, voice trembling with alcohol and spite. You bitch, Serena. What exactly are you to Cameron? Did you screw your way into his bed? Linda, are you drunk? Drunk? I'm Crystal. I swear I'll wreck you. I've already posted your glorious resume, thief and corporate whore, on the SG intranet. Enjoy the spitstorm. She hung up. I opened the forum, a scarlet banner sat on top. Design's new office snake, climbing via plagiarism. Bedposts. The thread painted me a calculating slut, complete with zoom lens photos of me climbing in and out of Adrian's Bentley, angles obscene. Comments exploded. Wait, she looks so innocent. Seems the project landed between her thighs. Filth kept reloading. My hands went ice cold. This was Linda's nuclear option, she wanted me erased. A warm tuxedo jacket settled on my shoulders. I spun around, Adrian's eyes were midnight black. Your hands are freezing, he said, folding them in his. What happened? I passed him the phone, voice shaking. After 3 swipes his face turned lethal, the terrace air crystallizing. Don't be afraid. He pulled me in, palm steady on my back. I'm here. His heartbeat was scalding, solid. I buried my face in his shirt and let the tears fall. I lost track of time. Adrian simply held me, stroking my hair again and again. When the storm passed, he tipped my chin and erased the wet tracks with his thumbs. Home. The single word carried the force of a verdict. The ride back was gravesite quiet. I stared at my lap, afraid to meet his eyes. The photos were real, our contract was in shards. I waited for blame. What are you scared of? He asked finally. That you're furious. At you? He gave a low laugh. This is a hiccup, but I broke the NDA marriage contract. Listen. He turned, gaze glittering in dashboard light. As long as you're my wife, even for one day, I hold the roof. Let it cave, I'll prop the sky. My heart missed a beat. Back at the penthouse I perched on the sofa, knees bouncing. Adrian disappeared into the study, muffled orders seeped through the door. PR has 30 minutes to vaporize that thread and every screenshot. Find the IP, identify Linda, she's persona non grata by sunrise. Legal drafts a defamation suit, bleed her dry. Each sentence was a scalpel. Half an hour later he re-emerged. Done. He stopped in front of me. Bed. About Linda. She'll pay. Not your load to carry. I studied the marble cut of his profile, equal parts terror and safety. Monday, I stepped off the elevator to a cathedral hush. Colleagues studied me with a mix of pity and awe. Maya dragged me into the copy room. Serena. Are you okay? That forum garbage, ugh. I'm fine. Fine my butt. But girl, you're legend, every post vanished overnight, like the server never heard of you. And Linda? HR just marched her out. Sterling suing her for libel, she bounced on her heels. Everyone's betting you've got a cosmic sugar daddy. I gave a weak laugh. The cosmic sugar daddy was signing quarterly reports upstairs. Post-scandal life turned surreal. No more snide remarks, fresh coffee appearing on my desk, invitations to lunch I never asked for. Between Adrian and me, something shifted. He no longer flinched when our fingers brushed. We started acting like any ordinary couple, eating together, taking walks together. If I casually mentioned craving a particular bakery's cake, he'd remember and bring it home the next day. When I worked late, he left the living room lights on, waiting. He didn't talk much, but everything he did wrapped me in quiet warmth. I realized this iceberg was melting for me, drop by drop, and my heart, buoyed by that one-of-a-kind favor, was quietly sinking. That day the company organized a retreat to the suburbs for basketball. A sports idiot like me could only sit on the sideline and cheer. The guys from Concept were getting slaughtered by marketing. Jason, panting, jogged over for water. Serena, want to give it a shot? Just to stretch your legs. Before I could refuse, an icy voice cut through the air. She doesn't play. I turned. Morgan had appeared out of nowhere, face as dark as a cast-iron pot. Why was he here? He never showed up for group events. The entire court went silent, every head swiveled toward us. Morgan's long legs brought him straight to me. He shrugged off his suit jacket and tossed it into my arms. Hold this. Then he unfastened his cuff links, rolled the sleeves to his elbows, revealing carved forearms. He took the ball from Jason, tested its weight. I'll play. Gasps rippled across the court. Cameron was stepping onto the court himself? What kind of fantasy plot twist was this? The instant Morgan joined, the air changed. He moved like a leopard waking from sleep, pure aggression. Dribble, crossover, lift, release. One fluid motion. A perfect three-pointer, nothing but net. The crowd exploded. I clutched his jacket, staring at the sweat-slick man under the sun, eyes wide. He seemed to glow. From then on the game became his solo highlight reel. After every bucket he habitually lifted his jersey to wipe his face. 8-pack, V-cut, glistening in the sunlight. Female colleagues squealed behind cupped hands. And each time, his gaze sliced across the court and pinned me. That stare, half challenge, half brag? My cheeks burned. I pretended to admire the scenery. When the final whistle blew, Morgan's team had crushed the others. Teammates hoisted him like a king. I assumed he'd celebrate with them. Instead he pushed through the crowd and headed straight for me. Under the watchful eyes of the whole company, he stopped in front of me, pressed the game ball into my arms, then cupped the back of my head and kissed me hard. MMPH. My brain short-circuited, everything blanked. Screams, gasps, all faded to white noise. There was only his possessive, salty kiss. Fierce, burning, leaving no room for refusal, as if he meant to swallow me whole. My mind crashed. I hugged the basketball and let him stake his claim in front of everyone. After an eternity he eased off, forehead against mine, breath scorching. Now they all know, he said, black eyes stormy. You're mine. I stared at his face inches away, heart drumming wild. The colleagues had lost it. Aha. Did you see that? Cameron kissed Serena. This is straight out of a rom-com. Sugar overdose. Maya clutched her chest, ready to faint. My ship is cannon. Cannon. Morgan pulled me through the gauntlet of stairs and into the car. My face was still on fire. Have you lost your mind? I stammered. We agreed. The contract is void. His tone brooked no argument. Huh? From this second, no agreement, no clause. He turned to me, dead serious. Serena, I want you as my real wife. I froze. Was this a confession? You. I opened my mouth, words lost. I know you're overwhelmed. He brushed my cheek gently. Take all the time you need. My answer won't change. The Bentley drove us home. I drifted into the mansion feeling dream-drunk. Morgan, the aloof titan, liked me? Impossible. That night I tossed in bed, the midday kiss and his declaration on loop. I slipped to the study door, a sliver of light leaked out. I nudged it an inch and saw Morgan at the desk, back to me. He wasn't working, he was studying something. I leaned closer, an old fabric-covered notebook. His fingers traced the pages with tender reverence I'd never seen. What was it? I shifted, the door creaked. Who's there? He snapped the book shut and spun around. I shot upright, grinning awkwardly. Couldn't sleep. His gaze softened. Come here. I shuffled in. What are you reading? He hesitated, then handed it over. See for yourself. Puzzled, I opened to the first page. Neat handwriting leapt out. Sunny, 20xxxxxx. Met a weird guy in the campus library. He sat across but kept his head down, never looked at me. When I left he finally peeked up, I caught him, ears scarlet. Adorable dot. My heart lurched. The script, mine. My lost college diary. I flipped on. Ran into him again. Always there wherever I am. Coincidence? His name's Morgan. Same elective, always seated behind me. Feels like a laser on my back. Dot. Pouring rain, no umbrella. He gave me his and dashed off soaking. Fool. Dot. Page after page, every entry about a boy named Morgan, crushes I'd forgotten, flooded back. I remembered. I'd lost this diary graduation week, thought it was gone forever, yet, it had been with him. How, did you get this? I lifted my shocked gaze. He looked sheepish. Found it. Found? 5 years ago, at your school flea market. His eyes flickered, nervous. Saw your name, bought it. 5 years, right after graduation. So you've, since then? Yes. His stare blazed. From the very first line, that boy, ears red, so cute. Dot. My face combusted. The secret watcher, the blush, the chance meetings, him. The marriage wasn't grandfather's whim, it was his orchestrated excuse to keep me. Serena, I've loved you for years. Tears blurred my vision. Every riddle answered. Why he knew my favorite Greek yogurt. Why he tracked my cycle. Why his indulgence knew no limit. Because he loved me, deeply, cautiously. I flung my arms around him. Idiot, why didn't you tell me? He hugged tighter, chin on my head, voice shaking. I was afraid. Afraid you wouldn't, believe me. I looked up through tears. I believe you. Rising on tiptoe, I kissed him, soft, grateful, a kiss of treasures found. The iceberg had melted, completely. Next morning delicious smells woke me. The bed was empty. I padded downstairs to find Morgan in the kitchen. White shirt, sleeves rolled, apron, pink with dancing strawberries. The sight almost broke my brain. He fumbled a spatula, trying to flip an egg. Plop, yolk splattered on the burner. He frowned, the mighty CEO turned guilty child. I burst out laughing. He spun, ears flaming. You're up, he said coolly. Breakfast almost ready. I slipped behind him, circling his narrow waist, chin on his shoulder. I've got this, Alex. His body tensed for a second, then relaxed as he let me wrap my arms around him. I'll teach you, hands on. I curled my fingers over his and guided the spatula back into his hand. His palm was broad, warm, and it swallowed mine whole, a steady heat that made me feel absurdly safe. Like this, then like this. I murmured the steps against his ear, my breath brushing the shell of it. I could feel his inhale turning heavier, slower. When the perfect sunny side up slid onto the plate, I started to step away. He spun around instead, trapping me between the marble counter and his chest. Lesson over? He leaned down, black eyes blazing. Then it's my turn to teach you something. He dipped his head and kissed me. A slow, good morning kiss that tasted of butter and egg yolk and everything I hadn't known I was starving for. We finally finished breakfast, every bite of it delicious, and every glance a second course of him. Before he left for the Sterling Tower, he pinned me to the foyer wall and kissed me until my knees failed. "Wait for me tonight." I nodded, cheeks on fire. The door had barely clicked shut when my phone exploded with Maya's voice, 2 octaves higher than human. "Serena. You're trending." "What?" Hashtag Sterling CEO hot kiss. Hashtag couple goals. Hashtag his little wife. Go look, now. I opened Twitter. The clip of Adrian and me kissing on the rooftop court last night was everywhere. Comments scrolled faster than I could read. "OMG these faces, I'm officially dead. Someone bury me in their shipping thread. Get married on the spot, I beg you." Heard the girl's a concept designer. "Office romance is real and it wears suits." The screen lit up again, Adrian calling. "Scene trending?" Amusement laced his tone. "Yeah," I fidgeted. Is this okay? Why wouldn't it be?" He sounded downright righteous. "I'm only announcing my baby to the planet." His shameless confidence left me zero comeback. "Oh," he added, "I changed my game handle." "To what?" "Serena's exclusive night. I said nothing, my face was doing all the screaming. "Also," he went on, "if anyone on the server calls you baby, I kill them on sight." Every time. I was speechless. This man became a teenager the second we got official, and my heart drowned in sugar anyway. That afternoon I was hunched over a concept board when Connor arrived with a forest of roses, premium midnight blue, 999 stems, carpeting half the studio. The card, in Adrian's wild cursive. "My universe starts and ends with you." Adrian. Every woman in concept lost her mind. Jesus, Mary, and Jay-Z, that's romance. "Serena, did you save a galaxy in your last life or what?" I buried my face in petals taller than me and turned the color of ripe tomatoes. Night had fallen when I got home. Adrian was already back, waiting in the living room. A velvet box sat open on the coffee table. Inside, a single platinum band, minimalist, luminous. Engraving glinted inside the shank. I looked at him, throat tight. "Our wedding was a courthouse blur," he said, walking over. "You never even got a proper ring." He slipped the circlet onto my left ring finger. Perfect fit, perfect weight. "Serena," he dropped to one knee, eyes lifted in absolute devotion. "The NDA marriage contract is paper. Burn it in your head. I'm asking for real this time. Will you marry me, only me, forever me?" Tears sprinted down my cheeks. I nodded so hard my vision blurred. "Yes, yes, yes." He laughed, a low shaky sound, stood and folded me into his arms. "From now on you're my only real Mrs. Sterling." I rose on my toes and kissed him hard. Outside, Manhattan glittered like it, too, was blushing. Inside, love ran so loud we couldn't hear the city. I knew, right then, the rest of my life was sealed to this man. No contract, no clauses, just us. The wedding he gave me was a spectacle even Park Avenue gossip couldn't exaggerate. He imported everything that could be imported, booked everything that could be booked, and swore he wouldn't sleep until every woman on earth envied me. He succeeded. I floated down the aisle in a gown he helped design, layers of silk like liquid moonlight, feeling every inch the princess my bank account had never allowed. He stood at the end in a white tux, eyes shining as if he'd been waiting since birth. When we traded rings, Maya sobbed louder than the organ. Marriage turned Adrian into the wife-devoted mogul headlines mock complain about. He memorized my coffee order, my migraine schedule, the exact way I like my pillows fluffed. I once whined during some late-night cooking show. I could kill for a bowl of Buddha jumps over the wall. By next evening a Michelin star chef was simmering shark fin and abalone in our kitchen. He pampered me into near uselessness. Every dawn he squeezed the toothpaste, tested the shower temp, then woke me with a kiss so deep he called it his battery recharge. Company retreat t-shirts arrived in the mail. Everyone got the same print except ours. Cartoon Adrian holding chibi me, hearts instead of eyes. His Instagram, once a desert, became a shrine, me eating, me drafting, me napping. Caption never changes, mine. Tristan commented, "Quinn, have mercy, normal people need sleep." Adrian replied, "Ask the singles." Even his game tag grew a second tail, Serena's exclusive night, touch her and you die. He spent 3 days massacring every avatar that dared type baby in chat. My handle is now censored server-wide. I'm referred to as the queen who must not be named. I call him ridiculous. He says, my territory, my rules. His caveman devotion melts my bones. One Sunday we had dinner with Eleanor. They watched Adrian pile my plate higher than Everest and whispered later, Serena, truth, does he owe you money or something? I almost spat water. Our first anniversary, I missed my period. Adrian went full doomsday prepper, cleared his calendar, hired 2 night nurses, and practiced breathing exercises off YouTube. At 3 a.m. I craved hot and sour noodles. He jogged to Chinatown in a snowstorm. Bella arrived yelling, all pink fists and charcoal eyes, my mouth, his glare. In the hospital he held our tiny bomb like she was plutonium, kissed my sweaty hair and whispered, you gave me the world. Changing diapers was a 3-round rock-paper-scissors war. Winner supervises, loser executes. Both stuff their faces with grapes and cheer each other on. Picture the CEO of Sterling Global yelling, you got this, champ. Wipe front to back. Bella's first parent-teacher night, I showed solo. The teacher's pitying look screamed single mom. Halfway through the door slammed open, Adrian fresh from a Tokyo Zoom, suit sharp enough to slice bread. He slid into the seat, kissed my temple, and Emery to the whole room, apologies, traffic from the jet. I'm Serena's husband, Bella's father. You could have heard a crayon drop. That night Bella slept between us, lavender breath steady. Adrian spooned me from behind, chin on my shoulder baby. LSU for walking into my life and turning glaciers into magma. I rolled over, nose to nose. LSU for loving me long before I noticed. We kissed over our daughter's curls while the skyline winked outside. 10 out of 10, I would live this life again and again. If you enjoyed this ride, smash like, share with your book-hungry friends, and tell us below, what score would you give their story? Subscribe for more Manhattan fairy tales. Next romance is already loading.